Yeah.
Hi, Mr. and Mrs. Carson. I'm Tiffany. I'm one of the social work interns at New Hampshire Hospital. Nice to meet both of you.
Nice to meet you.
How are you doing today? How's everything going for you?
It's going. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of trucking along.
Yeah. Trucking along.
I have a form that I have to fill out with each family. It's called a comprehensive social assessment. It sort of gets a little bit of background on Dani. I know he's only been here for about a day, and we have to do this within the first 4 days of admission. This just gives us a little bit more information so that we can sort of best treat, sort of the illness that he's dealing with and that you all are dealing with. Would you guys be willing to work with me on filling this out?
Absolutely.
Question? Great. And so he's been doing really well here. So far, the doctor has taken him off one of his medications. He's taking him off the clonidine, and so he's sort of going to see how that does, and he's going to try to figure out what else he's going to increase, but I'm sure that he'll be in to talk to you both about that when that happens. So maybe after this he can come in and give you a little more information about that. If that's okay?
Sure.
Okay. So what would you say is the main reason for Dani's admission? Like why did you bring him here? I know that he's here on an involuntary admission.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Dani has always been off. There's always been something that kind of people look at him like kind of move away, like almost like he has some sort of like orb around him that just pushes people away. So yeah,
okay.
We were feeling a little unsafe, which is why we had to call the police, which then resulted in
getting into the hospital.
Yeah.
There's sort of like a specific precipitating event. Like I know you said sort of, you always felt like he's had something off about him, but
we always found things like in his room that were off, like things like cutouts of magazines, like guns. He would cut out pictures of guns, and just like notes he would write. They were just very dark and a little bit dark than we're aware of that a 13-year-old boy should have.
Right.
So it's been, and then when he wrote a poem about people that he wanted to kill at school, and that was kind of something that we were like, oh boy, yeah.
Concerned about.
Oh yeah.
Do you have access to guns in the home? Are there any guns or other kind of weapons?
There is. I do have one gun.
Okay.
He shouldn't have access to it, but I always feel like he's one step ahead.
Okay.
Is
it sort of locked up, or is it?
It's locked up, but I don't know. I wouldn't put it past him to find a way to get into it.
Okay.
If he really wanted to. I feel like it's a problem that's getting worse and worse. And I wish we didn't have a gun in the house.
Is it something you'd sort of like to talk about? Maybe like securing it or like removing it from the home, or are you really like?
I think if he comes home, we'll remove it. It was more for just like recreation, like if that, shooting at range.
Okay. Basically, what I'm hearing is that you've sort of always felt like Dani has had something kind of off about him. Maybe people haven't necessarily liked to get close to him. And that recently you've sort of found things like he's cutting out pictures of guns or things that might be considered threatening toward other people, like the poem that he was writing. Have you ever felt unsafe with Dani yourselves?
Yes.
Yeah. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
We'll put him to bed at night, make sure he's in bed, but he's up and he's walking around the house. And it's just very unsettling. Because, he's not a very happy kid, and he never has been, and so I think that in itself worries us because we're both happy people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's frustrating because I think we've done everything we could to give him a happy life. We're not sure what we're doing wrong that's making him not have a normal life, but he's not normal. He's not. We need help, and we're getting frustrated. And as a mom, I don't know what to do. Right. And sometimes we feel like he resents us, but we just can't figure out why, and maybe that's where his anger's coming from, towards others and towards us, when he has outbursts. But
And have you reached out to any community providers or any like mental health centers or therapists or programs or anything of that sort for Dani? Has he been involved in anything like this before his hospitalization?
It's karate, but that's just for fun. Just to get him to, build relationships with people. Get a hobby.
And what are you sort of hoping to get from his hospitalization? Like, what's sort of your goal?
Him to be happy and home, and I hate to say the word normal, but I want him to be healthy. I don't want him to be, socially like a recluse and feel, be back in with his friends and building friends
and maybe just gaining some insight on how he is toward others and himself even. He can be so harsh, and I don't think he knows he's acting this way, which makes it hard to address it.
Right.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay, so sort of maybe just get some, like another opinion on how we can help to make him healthier, or to support him in getting healthier. Can you tell me a little bit about Dani's history from when he was a child? Like, how was your pregnancy with him? Was that normal? Did you have any complications?
I was in a car accident,
Okay.
but that was during the second trimester. Wasn't injured or anything, but it was stressful.
Okay.
It wasn't like life-threatening by any means. That was just probably one of the things that stood out about the pregnancy.
Did you have a normal delivery?
Yes.
You did? Okay. What about when Dani was a small child? Were there any big transitions for him? Did you move anywhere? Sort of any big changes for him?
Well, I did. I got a higher paying job,
Okay.
so we moved from a rural town into a more urban city. And so I think, with that change and he left what he knew and I was around less because my job required me to be there more.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a big change for him.
Okay. And has Dani been in the same school system from where you have moved? Like once you moved, has he been in the same school system?
No.
No.
I mean,
He's been in
yeah.
different schools?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And how many different schools has he been in? And do you have any ideas of like grades and things like that?
Well, his elementary school and his middle school, grades aren't very good because he doesn't like to go.
Okay.
Like getting him up in the morning is tough.
Yeah.
Or even getting him, once we do get him there, it's hard to get him to stay.
To stay at school?
Yes, yes.
How does he sort of try to stay out of school? Like what sort of things does he do?
He gets a lot of in-house suspensions, and it's kind of hard to tell whether he's doing it on purpose to get out of school or whether he really just can't control those impulses.
Okay.
Lots of nurse visits saying that something's bad's going to happen and something like that. So we'll get calls home pretty quickly. And I mean, when your son says that to you, we want to just be there as fast as we can. So we just fall into this cycle of, something bad's going to happen and we go and get him.
Right. Does he seem like he sort of is on edge about something happening to him often, or does this mostly happen at school?
I would say all the time. Not so much in the summer, but even on the weekends. Like bedtime, almost like the sleepwalking stuff. So.
Have you ever considered placing Dani in sort of an educational, like a school that would focus on mental illness as well as education?
Never heard of it.
Yeah.
No? Okay. Is that something you'd be interested in finding more information out about?
If things can't get better.
Okay.
Yeah, that's probably a last resort,
Okay.
because taking him away from normal kids.
Okay. You sort of want to keep him in
Yeah.
where he is if possible.
Right.
Okay. So how old is Dani? I know he has a brother. How old is his brother?
How old is his brother? 8?
His brother's 8. Yeah, Dani is 12.
Okay, his brother's 8. And do you have any other children?
Dani's 13.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I'm not home a lot.
How old
I
is
might be
his,
about
how old
that.
is, so his brother's 8. Is he doing pretty well? Did they get along well together?
They kind of live separately.
Yeah.
They're very opposite,
They're opposite.
but You know, sometimes, yeah, they're opposite. The
You wanna
youngest
tell me a
one,
little more
well,
about
the
that?
youngest one gets a lot of attention.
He's the all-star pitcher on the Little League team. He's
So you're proud of him? Proud of how he's doing?
Oh yeah, and yeah, he's very confident in himself and very sure of his ways, and so, and he wants to stay on his team. So like he's almost always keeping himself in check as far as discipline goes. So I mean, he's very easily managed.
Do they get along?
I would say they coexist. I mean, I would go even far to say that Dani might be a little jealous of it.
Are you concerned at all about his like relationship with his brother? Are you concerned about like his impulses that you sort of mentioned earlier? Are you worried about that with his brother? Are you worried about him hurting his brother?
I am. Yes.
Yeah.
I think because he lacks insight into how he is, I don't think he recognizes his own strength or how, you know what I mean?
Just
Just
a very large boy at his age. Does Dani have any sort of medical issues that we should sort of pay attention to? Any sort of seizure disorders or?
Well, he's got in karate, when we started him on that a long time ago, he did get a couple of concussions.
Okay.
And
So he's hit his head a few
he-
times?
yeah, he's had a couple of minor head traumas.
He also has asthma too.
Okay.
Um,
Does he have an inhaler?
I don't think so. Does he?
No.
I
maybe.
mean, I think he did at one point, but they took it off.
Okay.
Sorry for my laughing. It's
That's
just, I get nervous.
It's okay. It's not a problem at all. Thank you for answering me so honestly. So do you have any cultural or religious considerations that you would like us to know about Dani?
I don't think Dani specifically does.
No. Have you been following any type of religion or spiritual things? No? Okay. Okay, and what do you think are Dani's sort of safety risks? What are you concerned that he could do towards other people or yourselves? Describe his risk.
Yes, he's just physically threatening.
Okay. So you're
That's it.
concerned about his physical training. Okay. And then I just wanted to ask, I know that you mentioned that you guys live with a dog and also your other son. Is there anybody else that's in your residence? No? No? And what is your address? I just need to clarify that in the system.
96 Trumpet.
Saxophone.
Avenue?
Trumpet
Yeah,
Ave.
sorry, I was confused if it was a street or if it was an Ave.
Well, thank you. It seems like you've given me a really great amount of information about Dani that we can use. Is there anything else that you really would like us to know or to note in our system when we're thinking about treatment and
Just take good care of him.
Yeah,
we will definitely do that.
thanks.
So I was hoping that now maybe we could invite Dani in just to ask him a couple of questions about why he thinks he's here and, sort of anything that he wants us to know and what he's thinking about. So I can go grab him. Does that sound good to you?
It does.
Great.
Good luck.
And Dani.
Hi, Dani.
Bud.
Hi.
How's it going, Dani?
Not good.
What's going on?
I don't want to be here.
Why do you think your parents are concerned for your safety? What do you think that's about?
I don't know, because I like punk music and like guns and stuff, and they like get mad at me for it.
You got a lot of teenage angst going on, Dani.
Okay. Dani, do you ever have thoughts about your guns or anything like that? Thoughts about hurting anybody?
I might now.
You might now. No. What do you mean by that?
No, it made me so mad. Well, I don't know why I'm here.
You feel angry?
Mm-hmm.
But you know when you say things like, now you're going to think about guns and you make these statements, it's threatening and it scares us. And we have, your little brother at home and your
He's
school
the
friends.
golden child. Blah, blah, blah.
Why would you say that?
Oh my god.
This is what we have to deal with.